Hello beautiful people, today we are going to be making 10 candles. Yes, cocoa apricot cream, check. Wooden wick, check. Smooth tops and bomb hot throw. Keep watching. Hello beautiful people, so as I said in my intro, we're going to be making 10 candles, travel candles, tiny candles, whatever you want to call them. We're going to be making those today. Of course, we're going to be using wooden wicks because that's what I love to use. And I'm going to be using the cocoa apricot cream for these. And I'm also going to be using Wooden Wick Co.'s fragrances today for these particular scents. I'm also going to give you a little tip or show you how I make my round candle labels for these 10 candles. So basically they look like that. I'm just gonna give like a quick tutorial on those as well in this video so you can see how I do that. So for these 10 candles, what you'll need, of course, you'll need your cocoa apricot cream wax. You're going to need this glass anchor jar or whatever you want to use. I find that if you try to use plastic to measure the fragrance oils, sometimes if they sit too long, they kind of eat right through the plastic cups, and I don't really like using plastic anyhow because it's wasteful. You have to throw it away and it's not good for the environment. With glass, you can just wash it out and reuse it. No harm, no foul. So you'll need that, or that's what I use to measure my fragrances. Then of course you need a pouring pitcher. Depending on how many fragrances you're going to be making, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, however many scents you're going to be making. I like to use different pouring pitchers for because I don't like to mix the scents and then it throws off. It'll throw off, you know, how the candle is supposed to smell. If it gets mixed up, I just prefer to use separate pouring pitchers for that part. Then you need whatever fragrance oil you're going to be using. Of course, you need the tins. These are 5-ounce tins. And of course I got these from Wooden Wick Co. So you can go on their site if you want to buy these. They sell out fast, so good luck. Then you're going to need the wick stickers. So this is how they look, just wick stickers. You need those to stick your wick clip and then ultimately stick your wooden wick into there. So I need more than 3. I need 4 for today. Okay. Then you need wooden wicks. For these 5-ounce candles, I am using the 5-inch in height and 0.75 inch in width for the wooden wicks that I use. And these burn perfectly. I mean, complete melt pool on the top of the 10 candles, so you're not gonna have to worry about tunneling or anything like that, it burning too fast. It's just absolutely perfect, I have found. So let's get 4 of the wooden wicks out. Funny story, I already made this video, but I thought it would be fun to just play music in the background. So I added my little R&B playlist from Apple Music, and I thought, you know, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna be chilling, vibing, listening to music, making these 10 candles. Silly me, I went ahead and uploaded that video, and because the music was in the background, it ended up flagging me for copywriting, and I didn't want to, you know, be involved with anything like that. So I just decided to do it over, because when I went back on to the video to try to remove the sound and do like a voiceover, it was a hot mess. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it over. So anyway, this is take 2. So we also need the wick clips. These are the type of clips that you use when you're going to be making a wooden wick candle, which is pretty standard. So I'm going to put all of that stuff there. Also, you need alcohol. I just use 91% rubbing alcohol to clean out my tins before I pour any wax or anything in there. I also use a timer because I like to stir all of my fragrances with my waxes together for about 2 minutes. So the timer is important for me. And then I use these little wooden skewer sticks to stir my fragrance when I put the fragrance and wax in my pouring pitcher. Of course, you need your wick trimmer. So when you're done, you can trim your wick. Now, when you buy these, you don't have to get them 5 inches tall. I did because I was in my testing phase and I just bought them 5 inches tall because I was using them in my taller jars as well, which in my 12-ounce jars, but it didn't work in those, and it ended up working in my 10 candles. So I just kept them, and I'm like, I'm going to just use them. So when I cut them, you can actually use this end after you have cut the wick. You can use this part to make another candle. It'll be fine. But yeah, you can buy them shorter so you don't have to go through the headache of having to cut them and use the other end and all that stuff, or being wasteful. So that's that. And then I just use a paper towel to put the alcohol on and then wipe out my tins. Oh, now I just purchased this like laser thermometer thing, and it is amazing. It's extremely accurate. It's way better than the old thermometer that I was using, because with this thermometer I would have to try to take it and stick it in here and swirl it around and keep checking it to see what it was, whereas with this, you just put it on top of the wax, press the button, and it gives you a temperature read. So it's pretty cool, and I'll show you all of that as well. For part of the video when I'm doing measuring, I am just going to use my cell phone so that you can see that, because I'm not going to move this camera and all of that way over to my maker station. It's just it's a hassle, so that's that. So like I said, and I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible because I don't want this video to be too long for you, but I do want to make sure that I'm giving you everything that you need in order to go ahead and make your own tin candle. So just wiping out the tins. Wipe them out pretty good. Of course, they come from a manufacturer facility, warehouse, whatever you want to call it. So you want to make sure you're wiping out any dust or dirt or debris or anything like that. Make sure that they are really clean. So I just wipe the whole thing because the top I'm gonna have to stick my labels on anyhow, and it works better, so much better, if they are nice and clean and doesn't have any sort of residue. These aren't as dirty as some of the others I've seen. Some of them come with so much dust and what have you in them, and sometimes they come bent or cracked or dented. In that case, I just make candles in those for myself, but I don't send them out to customers, of course. So these are now wiped with alcohol. So today I'm going to be making 4 different scents, so I need 4 different pouring pitchers, and I'm going to do the mixing and measuring 4 times. But for my last video, I made these 3 candles here, so I'm just going to use the footage from when I made 3 candles using 1 scent. So for 1 tin candle, what I use is 14 grams of fragrance oil, So that is for one tin candle, 14 grams of fragrance oil and 160 grams of wax for one tin candle. Now 160 grams, give or take, sometimes it's a little bit less, because as you know, with the wooden wick tins, it has this little insert, this kind of rimmed insert here that has to go down into the candle. So you have to make sure that you're not filling it up too high, so that you're able to clip your wick down far enough that this tin top can still go on it and close completely. So this is an empty one, but I have already made one in which I have clipped. So you can see it's already clipped down. This is the top, and it fits on there and it closes. So you don't want it to be where you fill it up too high to the top and then you're not able to close it with the cap, because then, you know, you're gonna have to do it over. Especially if you're making it for a customer, you're going to have to do it over and make sure that it closes, because you don't want to mess up the look of the candle and just send it out like this. I'm sure it probably wouldn't do well if you did that, but I wouldn't do that. So anyway, I'm drying out the tins to make sure that when I stick the wick clip and all of that in there, it's not wet. Okay, so we have that. Put that over there. Now we are going to put the wick sticker on the bottom of the wick clip. Like that. I don't peel off this part until I'm ready to stick it into the jar. So I do this part first. Alright, those are on. And so what we're going to do is take the wicks and stick them into the wick clip. You want to make sure everything is nice and centered so that when you put them inside of your tins, everything will be good to go. Sometimes you have to pick and choose what end you're going to use. This end is a little frayed at the top, so I'm just going to put this in this way so that when it's time for me to clip it, that part can be discarded, because you just don't want a messed up wick going into your candles. So fairly easy. Now for this part, I use one of these what do you call them? It's a duster. I use this duster. I don't know what's wrong with my mind today. It's been hot. I've been out. I don't know. Anyway, I use this duster to put it on top of the tin. And as you can see, when you put it on top of the tin, the center, it's crazy today. The center of it is here. Probably can't see it too well because it's black. But anyway, but I just simply take this and I place it on top of my wick. And I peel off the bottom sticker so that it sticks, and I gently begin to place the wooden wick inside of the tin, right in the center hole of the dust cover. You see that? So this is how I am able to get my wicks completely centered. That works for me. Take that off of there, and now this is good to go for pouring. And I'm going to do that for the rest. Voila, you have it. They're all centered, good to go, ready to be poured. So, as I said before, for one candle tin, it's going to be 14 grams of fragrance oil and 160 grams of wax. Now, for the 3 candles that I made prior, I used 42 grams of fragrance oil and 480 grams of wax. So basically, you just do simple math. 14 grams of fragrance oil for one tin candle. If you're making 5, you multiply that by 5. You're making 10, you multiply that by 10. Just depends on how many you're making, and if it's one fragrance, then you multiply it that way. Same goes for the wax. If you're making 1, it's 160 grams of wax. If you're making 3, it's 480 grams of wax. You basically just multiply the 160 grams by how many candles you're going to be making if you're using one particular fragrance oil. Now, as I said before, I don't like to mix in my tin with different fragrance oils, so I am going to be pouring and mixing 4 times over. Now, for the sake of this video, so that it's not long, I'm just going to do 1 on camera, but you'll get the drift. And I'm going to show you how I measured for 1 fragrance oil for 3 candle tins, because I've already made these. It's the same fragrance, just different colored tins. So again, for the 3 candles, I used 42 grams of fragrance oil and 480 grams of Coco Apricot Cream Wax for those. For this one, it's just going to be 14 grams of fragrance oil and 160 grams of Coco Apricot Cream Wax. So I'm going to switch over to the cell phone view of me measuring the wax, measuring the fragrance oil, and then we're going to come back over and we're going to pour. So we are making 3 candles, so we want to use 42 grams of fragrance oil. So just watch the scale. Once it gets up to 42, you want to stop. I stopped at 49. Oh, now it's going to 50. So I am going to pour out a little bit of that to make sure that it's just 42. Because I don't want to put too much wax into my candles. So take that off of there. And I'm gonna pour a little back. Now let's see what it is. It's 47. Let's take it off. Pour a little bit out. Now, let's see what it is. Ooh, how's it still 46? Okay, one more time. 3rd time's a charm, right? I bet I'm gonna pour more out. Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. 42, 43. That's cool. That works. So after I measure my fragrance oil, I am then going to move into measuring my wax. So first I want to test the thermometers. Okay. Let's see what the digital thermometer says. I always like to stir it. Okay. It's probably gotten a little hotter than I want because it's been sitting over here a while. I do not recommend you heating your wax more than 200 degrees. So we're going to have to let this cool down quite a bit. But it's reading about 219. Now let's see what this... Oh yeah, soy light. That's what it is. Let's see what this thing does. Let's put that in there. Okay. About 1 degree under, but it's so much easier just doing that rather than having to use this and hold it, and it doesn't actually sit in the pot, so you risk the chance of dropping it. Anyhow, so as I did with the fragrance oil, when we put the tin on there to measure out the wax, we want to make sure that this says 0 because we don't want the weight of the tin. Okay, so you see that? It says 0 grams. So because we are doing 3 candles, we want to make sure that we're getting 480 grams of wax. So let's get started with that. You see my crate? I have it on the points here where it's sturdy. For me, it's not on the hole or near the hole, so it has been working and I don't move it around a lot, so I'm good to go with that. But again, I don't recommend you doing what I've done. So this is how it comes out, but we need to pay attention to what the scale is saying because we don't want to go over 480 grams. It moves pretty quickly. And I don't want to be pouring wax back because that's a pain. Okay. 487. We're just going to pour a little bit back. It's okay. The tin is clean, so we're good. Let's see. What is it gonna say? No way. 47? Come on, that's what he just said. All right. 42 works. That's good enough. So we are back. And we have we haven't mixed anything. We have measured our fragrance oil. So 14 grams of fragrance oil and 160 grams of wax. So now I'm just gonna check the temp of this. Okay, good. This is right about around 160. So that's kind of what I want to mix my 10 candles. And let me go ahead and start my timer. And we're gonna mix. So pour the fragrance oil directly in as you stir. Now, this cools down a little bit faster because my pouring pitchers are quite cold, where I keep them after I clean them, so yeah. Who saw the BET Awards? They were amazing. I am so happy that they are back. I love the BET Awards. I love the Hip Hop Awards. Anything that BET does, I just love it. And I thought the BET Awards were really cool this time around, just to see all of the musicians and artists back doing their thing. And Taraji was funny, of course. I absolutely love her. But yeah, it was good. So I hope everybody tuned in last Sunday, I think it was. We've got about 40 seconds. So after I'm done mixing the fragrance oil and the wax together, I'm just gonna pour it into my tin candle there. You want to make sure that you're doing on a flat, leveled surface, because if your surface is not leveled, you will not get an even top on your candle after it solidifies, and you don't want that. So make sure that your surface is flat and that it is leveled. So, all right, that's just about done. And I'm going to check the temperature. Okay, so that's just at about 145, which is cool. And we're gonna start pouring that in there. And that is absolutely perfect. So after you pour them, of course, you don't want to move them because then you'll mess up how it solidifies, and that wouldn't be good. So just be mindful of after you pour, leave it alone. And that's gonna start to solidify pretty quickly because it's cold in my working station. But yeah, that's that. And after that, I do my round labels. So with these round labels, the reason that I do them myself is because I haven't been able to find a linen textured label maker that can make these labels for me. There may be something that exists now from when I started making my candles. If you know of anything, put it in the comments below and I'll definitely check it out. But for now, I just get my paper from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It's just textured white paper, and then I use this little Fiskars round cutting tool. There's a little knife there to cut your labels. So you just put this on a hard surface and you make sure you measure it. You press down on the orange part and then you just go around, and then it cuts out your label. You get a round label, a nice round label. Sometimes there's a little more space on one side rather than the other, so you might have to do it 2 or 3 times before you actually, you know, get it perfect. But you know, it takes practice if you want to do it this way. Otherwise, label your candles the way you want. I'm sure they'll look fabulous, and you know, just go from there. But this is the way that I make my tin candles. So I hope that this was helpful. As always, set your intentions for the day. Today I used Peaceful Bliss from Zen Paradise. So again, these has the little amethyst crystals in there. I absolutely love it. Smells so good. Put on your Peaceful Bliss, set your intention for the day. My intention was to make these candles with peace and love. I know they bring me peace of mind. I'm not sure how you feel when you make your candles, but I enjoy it. I love it. It's everything to me. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my channel, beautiful people. If you have any questions, any comments, anything that you would like to see, as always, let me know in the description box below. And as always, I will leave all of this information as to where you can get all of the tools and fragrances and tins and everything that I used today. I will leave in the description box below. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time, loves. Bye.